Hello there. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Grove. Hi everyone, welcome back. So recently I did a video where I shared my beginner's build for the Revenant, and I thought it would be rather beneficial to do that for other classes. So for today, I've decided to tackle my beginner's focused build for the Guardian. This build in particular is going to be emphasizing self-sustain and survivability so that newer players can tackle open world, maybe even some bosses, or just try to be able to do things a little bit more self-sufficiently while still being able to deal damage. This build is not about killing things in 1 second flat. It's about sustaining yourself and having a comfortable time in Guild Wars 2. So with that said, let's go over my armor. So with this particular build, I'm running 3 sets of Cleric and 3 sets of Knight. I thought this would give you a good idea as to kind of mixing and matching certain armor combinations and stat combinations to better create a build. But honestly, if you want to go full Clerics or full Knights, that is also really good. Also, Knights and Clerics attributes are pretty easy to come by, so it's nice for more so newer players. Next, I'm taking Knight's Hammer for more crowd control and self-sustain on the Guardian. For my Mace and Shield, I am running Rampagers when I actually should probably be taking like either Assassins or Knights, but I have this for now. And then additionally, I am actually taking a Diviner's Shield, and Diviner's is a pretty rare stat. It does give a little bit extra concentration, but hey, if you don't want Diviners, I would recommend Knights or Clerics. One thing to mention about the armor is that with this build, I'm taking Superior Rune of Strength for some extra power and might duration. This rune is a little bit more offense focused because my armor is already fairly defense tank focused. Adding a little bit of extra power and a couple extra unique effects that increase your power is always a good idea, just to kind of offset and allow you to do a little bit more damage. And as for my accessories and back items, I would recommend taking some Assassins or Berserker. Currently, I do have 2 legendaries, which allow me to weapon and stat swap pretty easily. As for my other pieces of rings and amulets, they're not necessarily the thing that I would necessarily go for, but they're there, so it's a little bit more toughness and healing power once again. And then as for the build, I'm running Valor, Zeal, and Virtues. For Valor, I'd recommend taking Smiter's Boon, Stalwart Defender, and also Monk's Focus. If you're in an AoE group setting, I would definitely recommend taking Strength and Numbers to bolster up your allies' toughness even more. Next, for Zeal, I am taking Wrathful Spirit, Furious Focus, and Symbolic Avenger. For Zeal, this combination of traits allows you to play a little bit more passively, to the point where you don't necessarily need to think about specific interactions. A lot of it is about Aegis. When you gain Aegis and it actually blocks an attack, you gain Resolution and Fury. While you have Fury, your attacks apply vulnerability. And then in the case of Symbolic Avenger, your symbols are on your weapons. You plop these down. While you hit, you gain increased damage. You could take Shattered Aegis if you would like to do just extra AoE splash damage, because a lot of these traits do interact with Aegis. It's an option. Next, for Virtues, I am taking Resolute Subconscious for extra resolution and Aegis. Additionally, Inspiring Virtue, just for extra passive damage. And then finally, I am taking Indomitable Courage. The active effect on Virtue Skill 3 breaks stuns and grants stability to nearby allies. Its passive effect gains a shorter interval. This means while you have this trait, you gain extra stability and the ability to get yourself up from a crowd control effect. And additionally, your Aegis application will be on a much shorter cooldown. Instead of having to wait, I believe, like 60 seconds, you now get Aegis every 30 seconds, which is so much nicer. Now, as for my actual utility skills, I'm taking Shelter because it's a lovely block. still does not have a utility category. Next, I'm taking Judge's Intervention, of course, because of Monk's Focus. We're going to be getting a lot of use out of meditations. So Judge's Intervention, I'm taking Advance as a shout for extra Aegis application and swiftness to get around maps. And then Smite Condition. This is just extra AoE cleave, allowing you to also heal and gain fury from the trait. And additionally, you'll deal more damage if you happen to have a condition on you. In Core Guild Wars 2, you don't encounter too many conditions, so they're not that much of an issue. But if you ever do, I recommend popping this skill. And as for my elite, I'm taking Renewed Focus. It's a lovely invulnerability skill if you do find yourself to be in a very clutch situation. You pop all 3 of your virtues, press Renewed Focus to go invulnerable, and then recharge them. Pop your F2 and F3 once again to gain an extra heal and another extra application of Aegis, and then with the traits, Protection, Stability, and Resolution. So overall, Renewed Focus is quite lovely, but honestly, you could take Signet of Courage if you want, just for a more passive heal that also will splash onto allies. But, you know, Renewed Focus, you can't go wrong. Let's go find a veteran giant, and let's just see how well I can survive. Once again, I do have years of experience and understanding of Guild Wars 2's combat and enemies, so I can't necessarily strip that away, but I will play not as fast, just to see how well you can survive in these certain situations. I'm popping down my Mace too, to give myself a little bit of extra regen application just in case I do take some damage. Popping my 3rd skill to block that ability and do some extra damage, moving out of the area of effect rings. Here I haven't been CC'd. I'm going to pop my F3 to get back up a little bit faster. I was already in the animation to get up though. So as we can see here, the passive regen on my Virtue F2 passive and regen gives me about 400 healing per second. And then with the auto attack on the on the mace, the final auto attack will heal you. So that's even more healing. I'm just going to plop down my regen once again. I do have poison on me, so I'm actually going to press my 9th skill, Smiter's Smite Conditions, which allows me to get rid of that poison, and poison is pretty nasty to have on you. When you have poison on you, you have 33% reduced healing, which is never fun. See, as you can see, this veteran giant, I'm not necessarily super scared. I haven't been trying to react super fast or dodge certain things. I don't even think I've dodged yet. We'll dodge right now. We'll evaded some of those projectiles, and overall having a really great time just not being scared. Now, I'm gonna pop my F3 to get out of that. We do have someone helping me over here, so they might be influencing some things, but hey, it's an MMO. You always have help from your friends. But now we will go over and fight another Risen Giant just to see how much damage I can get out and just to see how quickly I can do it. I don't necessarily have a giant here, but I am going to be attacking this Risen Abomination. Oh, there's a giant just spawned in. We will see how much damage I can kind of pump out if I am just kind of amping it up a little bit. Not necessarily focusing on showcasing survivability, but just showcasing how I would just kind of leisurely play in a damaging scenario. So we'll pop this, and I also will be using my hammer right now, because hammer, the auto attack is the symbol application, which is actually a really strong symbol in the fact that it applies protection. We actually have an abomination right here now as well, so that'll be fun. But protection is an extremely useful boon to have, as it increases your survivability by reducing the strike damage you take by 33%. I'm gonna defend this, block that. Nice, easy, simple. Sadly, I don't have any conditions on me at the moment, so using Smite Condition right now won't necessarily deal increased damage, but if I can get some damage. Does that pulse any conditions? No, it does not seem to do that. We'll just continue to strike down. We'll pop the Smite Condition anyways, just to, we're going to use the F3 to get out of that. Apply some more burning, a little bit more fury as well on the Aegis application, or when the Aegis successfully triggers. I'm going to dodge that. Evade out of the stuns and the CCs are always a good idea. But honestly, not a difficult time. Pretty easy, pretty standard, not very scared for my life. Had a decent fight. Once again, like Corteria, some of the bosses and some of the higher ranked mobs are not as comparatively intense or interesting, especially when you get to expansion level zones. But these are the things that newer players will probably encounter, or players who are just checking out the base game. So I wanted to actually try to find a little packet of enemies, because if I can rile and rally some extra enemies up, we will see how much I can actually withstand, and also showcase this in an AoE potential. I had to mobilize there. I'm gonna use smite conditions to get rid of that, just so I can start to leash some of these mobs. Of course, too, the aggro ranges are very small, and they're very forgiving, so you will have a good time. So now let's see how we do this in an AoE situation. Also, with an AoE situation, your symbols are hitting multiple enemies, so you're getting actually many more procs off of Symbolic Avenger much more quickly. It's each person struck, you gain 1 stack, so if you only are fighting one person, it requires 5 seconds for that buff to build up. But if you're fighting 5 targets, and they're all hit by your symbol 1 time, that's an immediate 5 stacks of extra damage right then and there. As we can see here, it's just slowly starting to build up over time. That's five stacks of that. I'm just overall doing some more damage. Around 1,000, 2,000 strike damage. With crits, that can build up to around 3,000. So yes, everyone, this is kind of a beginner-friendly build that I would highly recommend to any newer players. You'll have a lovely time in open world, as you'll be able to withstand a lot of the strike damage. Sometimes condition damage, if you are fighting a particular enemy, can be a little difficult, but that's why I highly recommend taking smite conditions, just in case. Judge's Intervention allows for some nice mobility and jumping into a fight, as well as Advance is great for Aegis application and movement as well. But overall, this is a very much easier build to play. It is very self-sustained focused. You're not doing a whole lot of powerful damage, but it's definitely good just to use if you are just farming casually or wanting to maybe try to solo a particular boss and you would rather have a fighting chance rather than going down in 1 hit, but you're doing like 5,000-6,000 crits. So everyone, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you liked it, comment down below what you thought about this build. Give me recommendations as to like what profession I should try next to make a beginner-centric, easy build to play. And I would love to hear anything else that you have to say down below. If you'd like to pre-order End of Dragons, the next expansion for Guild Wars 2, I have links down below. And if you'd like to get videos early and also recommend videos, you can hit up the Patreon. Thank you everyone so much. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.